What's going on, guys? What we want to do today is we want to talk a little bit about how to use these inverse operations in order to solve equations. So really the first step is we want to look at one-step equations, and really we're just going to look at addition and subtraction in this video. So if I give you something like 3 plus x equals 9, you notice that we have a variable, we have an equal sign, right? We also have a number on one side, we have a number on the other side as well. I feel like the easiest way to do this is to kind of break down the sides. And so I would draw a line to break down my left and my right side. And so what I'm doing is I'm showing you where that variable is located. Now, when we solve equations, what we got to do is we got to isolate the variable, meaning we got to get the variable by itself. So to get the variable by itself, we have to move some things, right? And so when I look at the left side, that's where my variable is, right? My left side of my screen, that is where my variable is located. And so when we look at that, the x is with a positive 3. So if you notice, it's being added, right? There's a 3 that's being added. And if you come back and you look at the old notes we looked at a second ago, we talked about the inverse operations. Well, the inverse operation of a positive is a negative. So to get rid of a plus, you subtract. Okay? So when I look out here in front, this is a positive 3. So to get rid of this 3, I have to subtract it. Now, whatever I do to one side of an equation, I have to do to the other side. Because if I don't, then it's not really equal. Okay? It's not an equation then. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and subtract 3 over here. And the way we do this, if you work top down like I'm doing here, you will always keep everything together. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay. Now what I did was I drew a line, this is an equal sign, okay, basically. It tells me I'm going to do some math now. Okay. So when I take 3 minus 3, those go away, so I can cross those out. I move left to right. I notice now that I have an x. That x needs to come down. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that x down. And then I need to bring down my equal sign. And then finally, we do some math. So my math is 9 minus 3, which is 6. And therefore, we're done. Because what we see is, we see an x that's by itself, we see a number on one side, and you're done. Okay, so one thing you need to know about equations, I mean, that's the simplest, is that we can move that X or Y or W or a Steeler tattoo or whatever, okay? Whatever my variable is, I can move it wherever I want to. Okay, so I can put it on the left side, I can put it on the right side, I can put it wherever. And so the point of that is, it doesn't really change anything that we do. So even if the x is listed second, third, fourth, fifth, you just have to look at how you have to undo operations. And so you're just going to look at inverse operations. So every time you're trying to move something, you got to move it using inverse operations. So let me show you an example of a subtraction. So if I show you something like, let's do y minus 4 equals 8. Again, what I want to do is I want to look at where my variable is. Well, before I even set this thing up, I want to draw a line separating my left and my right side. What I want you to notice is that your y value, your variable, is located on the left. And then there's a number with it. And we can't have that number. We got to move it. That's how solving equations work. So I see a minus 4. Well, minus 4, I mean, to undo that, I have to use the inverse operation, which is plus 4. And so I want to move that 4. And to move it, I want to add it. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I need to add it over across the line to the other side. Noticing that you have a number and a number on top of each other. Make sure you draw your equal sign. And then we do some math. We work left to right, like I said. So now what I have is I have a variable. I have y. Y is just going to drop down because there's nothing underneath that. My 4's, the whole reason why I'm moving them is to get rid of them. So we cross them out. We bring down an equal sign. And then we do some math. And so, when we start looking at negative numbers and some positive numbers like we did in the past, you should make sure you have a calculator to check those answers. Because if I'm taking like a negative plus a positive or a negative plus a negative, you want to make sure you get those correct answers. Because if you type it in, it'll show you exactly how to do it. So 8 plus 4, I mean, that's positive. Positive plus positive give me positive. So I get 12. Now you can always check these. Now I didn't go over that a second ago, but we can always check these. And to do that, we can take y and plug it back in where I see y. So like my original equation was y minus 4 equals 8. Well, for us, we found that y is 12. So if I take 12 and subtract 4 from it, do I get 8? Yeah, last time I checked, 12 minus 4 is 8. So that works out. So that is how we do addition and subtraction.